At just 15 years old, he hacked into systems belonging to the United States government, NASA, the Department of Defense, military computers. What began as curiosity turned into one of the most shocking cybercrime cases in American history. And years later, the story would end in tragedy. This is the story of Jonathan James. Jonathan James was born in 1983 and grew up in South Florida during the rise of the internet age. Like many teenagers of the late 1990s, he became fascinated by computers. But unlike most teenagers, Jonathan possessed extraordinary technical skill. Online, he operated under the alias CAO Murdrad. And before adulthood, he had already entered a world most people never even knew existed, the underground hacker scene. Between 1999 and 2000, Jonathan James infiltrated multiple high-profile systems, including networks belonging to Bell South, the Miami-Dade school system, and eventually the United States Department of Defense. Investigators later revealed that James installed a backdoor into Defense Threat Reduction Agency systems. Through it, he intercepted thousands of emails, usernames, and passwords belonging to government employees. But the most shocking revelation came later. NASA confirmed that James had accessed software connected to the International Space Station, critical systems involving environmental controls and life support operations. The intrusion was so serious that NASA reportedly shut down systems for weeks while investigating the breach. And all of it was done by a teenager. On January 26, 2000, federal agents raided Jonathan's home. The Department of Defense, NASA investigators, and local police all participated in the operation. Months later, Jonathan James pleaded guilty to multiple cybercrime charges. At just 16 years old, he became the first juvenile in United States history sentenced for hacking crimes. His punishment included house arrest, probation, restrictions on computer use, and mandatory apology letters to NASA and the Department of Defense. Legal experts later claimed that had he been an adult, he could have faced over a decade in prison. America wanted to send a message. Cybercrime would be treated seriously, even when committed by children. Years later, another massive cybercrime investigation changed Jonathan's life forever. Hackers connected to one of the largest credit card theft operations in history became targets of the Secret Service. Although Jonathan denied involvement, investigators raided homes connected to him and questioned possible links to the case. According to family members, Jonathan feared he would be prosecuted for crimes he did not commit. Friends described him as deeply stressed and emotionally exhausted. The teenager, once labeled a genius hacker, had become trapped beneath suspicion and pressure. On May 18, 2008, Jonathan James was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He was only 24 years old. In his final note, he denied involvement in the crimes investigators suspected him of. And he wrote words that still haunt many people today. "I have no faith in the justice system." Whether guilty or innocent in the later investigation, Jonathan believed he had already lost control of his future. And with his death, one of the internet's earliest hacker legends came to a tragic end. Jonathan James became part of internet history long before cybersecurity became a global priority. His story exposed how powerful technology had become and how unprepared society was for the new digital age. To some, he was a criminal. To others, a misunderstood prodigy. But his story remains one of the earliest warnings about the growing collision between technology, power, and human consequences. The internet remembers everything, every breach, every secret, every name. And somewhere in the history of cyberspace, the ghost of C. Martin Grade still remains.